Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Look at me, I'm on time, Mike Voss. See, I could do it. Came on time. Life is good. Happy to be here with all of you. And I wasn't sure, as usual, what I was going to talk about today. I bounced back and forth, and there were so many different things that I was thinking about. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me talk about what people are talking about, which is Mom Donnie and socialism, but from a very different perspective. And I looked around and I found someone who had a very good take on this and linked it to something else, which I thought was very interesting. It shows kind of what's happening in America and why, for those of you who are not huge fans of socialism, I know many of you are not, some of you are. And for those of you who don't even understand what socialism actually is and how it's changed and adjusted, I'll talk about that too. And to see, why would someone decide that that's a good idea? It seems like that would not be a good idea, but there are logical reasons why. And sadly, I put in the description, are conservatives causing a rise in socialism? And that triggered some of you conservatives. Wait a minute, is that my fault? Yeah, it's yours too. You are also responsible for this. Yep. Why? Because so many of you conservatives, your answer to socialism is stupid kids. Not a good answer. And you know, I say all the time, when there's a bad answer or no answer, stupid kids, they take bad answer. And here comes Mom Donnie with, I'm going to give you free buses. And they go, yay. And free buses it is. And you go, stupid kids, and you still lose. So it's kind of your fault too. So take that, conservatives. But not only. Before we go any further, guys, please make sure you click the like button. I know I said it. Why? Because some of you don't do it, and you need to. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo before we start moving forward. So Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore Rhythm, that guy looks and goes, hey, I would like to share this. I'd like to share this all over the place. So he can share it all over the place if you click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. And of course, please share this. Repost this. If you don't share, repost this, you yell at people, get off my lawn. That's you. You're the guy who yells, get off my lawn. If you don't share, repost this. You don't want to be that guy. Don't be that guy. So share or repost this right now. And as we start doing a bunch of back and forth, you will notice that some people would like to have their chats go to the front. Well, you can do that. You can do that by either ranting me on Rumble or by super chatting me on YouTube. Either way, super chat or rant or Rumble, either one, and you will find that going right to the front. It does matter. Please do that if you want to. The best way you can help out, though, also is by becoming a member. $49 per month is a great way of doing it. So if you can, please come on board. But it doesn't matter either way. The easiest thing to do, of course, is to click that like button. That is what I ask you to do all the time, because that's kind of what matters. So anyway, I want to grab this piece if I could. This is from Trigonometry, right? And I know some of you know it, some of you like it, some of you don't. But let me pop this on so you can see. I think I got that. There we go. Now we are rocking and or rolling. This is rock and or roll. It may be both of them. And listen up if you would. This is what he talks about.
Why socialism is on the rise.
Yep. Zoran is winning.
In the wake of Zoran Mamdani's win in the Democratic primary for mayor of New York, there's been a glut of commentary from people who didn't see it coming, attempting to understand what is happening. Some, like investor and former Trigonometry guest Bill Ackman, argue that Mamdani is a uniquely talented retail politician who outworked the competition.
Now, part of that is true. If you remember, I had him on my show years ago, right? I had him on my show years ago. Why? Well, because I saw him as someone special. Now, why is he special? They're going to say, well, he's uniquely talented. I'm not prepared to say that. But what I am just prepared to say is he is very special when it comes to socialists. Many socialists in America are not very good at being charismatic. He is. I saw that immediately. You guys wondering, why in the world would I have this guy on your show, Larry, years ago before he was anybody? Because he had charisma. And he's also fearless. Those things do matter. And this was attractive. So that part is true, but not to this level.
In this conception, his policies were not the determining factor. Others, like fellow investor Tyler Winklevoss, believe that it's simply time for young people to be reminded of the realities of socialism.
Nope, that is conservatives going, you stupid kids. No, this is incorrect. This is incorrect. Time to teach these kids a lesson. Terrible idea. This is your fault, conservatives. Don't do this.
According to this view, indoctrinated at school and university and let down by parents who failed to prepare them for the real world.
Okay, that part's true. Yeah, okay, that part's true. So when you conservatives yell at that, you're right on that one. That part's true. Okay, conservatives win that round. The education system's garbage. However, the education system's been garbage for a long time. Why now?
Millennials and Gen Z just won't wake up until they face the reality of Mamdani's insane policies, like government-run grocery stores and rent freezes. Others still take a dimmer view of the next generation, proclaiming that Mamdani won because of vibes. The center-left, on the other hand, consoles itself with the notion that he was up against a terrible candidate in Andrew Cuomo.
Also
all of these people are right, and all of them are wrong.
He's correct.
It's true that Mamdani appears to have the common touch, but many people who do are unable to produce the stunning victory he achieved.
That's correct. A lot of there are people who are pretty good at it, right? He is exceptional at it. This guy, whatever you might say about him and his policies, the guy hustled for it. He did hustle for it. That's true. He didn't walk around, do nothing. He did hustle for it. That's true.
It's true that young people do not understand the history of socialism and have little idea of just how terrible the consequences of Mamdani's policies will be.
And there's the thing that's important, right? And that idea is that it's true. I'm old enough to remember when, it was the Soviet Union and whatever. I am. But a lot of people, they don't think that way. It's cool Uncle Bernie and hot AOC, and that's socialism. See? And now charismatic Mamdani who attacks the system. And so it seems like it's cool. I understand. And that's partially true. People do see it that way.
It's true that vibes were a powerful force in this election.
True.
But politics has always been about vibes.
Yes.
The elections of Barack Obama and President Trump were about vibes too. And yes, it's true that Cuomo is a terrible candidate who's facing allegations of sexual harassment, as well as scrutiny for his disastrous decisions.
I am no fan of Cuomo.
During the pandemic. But that doesn't explain the popularity of Mamdani, only the unpopularity of Andrew Cuomo.
Correct, because in reality, if Cuomo was just so bad, in theory, I mean, obviously not true, but in theory, they could have picked that guy Lander. They could have picked the other Adams, right? There's two Adams running. Eric Adams is the independent, the current mayor. There's another Adams running. They could have picked her. Right? She's the city council. Is she the speaker? Maybe she has some title in the city council. I think she's the speaker, but they could have picked her. There were lots of people they could have picked, but they picked Mamdani. So it's not just that Cuomo's bad. Somebody or some people saw Mamdani as the answer. He is correct. It's not, when Democrats go, well, it's because Cuomo's bad. That's cope. That's cope.
The reality is that none of these variables on their own are sufficient to explain the rising popularity of socialism in many Western countries, or more specifically, many large Western cities.
Now, that's the part that he's brought up. That's the home run that people don't accept. It is not just America. It is many Western countries. And specifically, his point's right on the money. This guy's getting it. It's specifically Western cities. If you go outside of the city, right, particularly rural areas, there's not a huge interest in socialism. There's always some somewhere, right? But you're not going to find lots of it. You go into the cities, you find lots of it. That is a big difference. Thank you, Duke of X, for the $5. I appreciate it, my friend. Duke of X, $5 says, socialism is called by ignoring objective reality and believing that people are so special that their lives are someone else's responsibility. Okay, let me go walk down that road. People who believe socialism is the answer don't see that at all. What they see is something similar, meaning objective reality is a disaster. It's not working for them, right? It's not working. The system now, and to be forward, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying we can't just insult. I mean, we can. We shouldn't. How about that? We shouldn't just insult. We should seek to understand so that we can turn them. That's what we should be doing. Seeking to understand so we can turn them. How do they see it? They see it as the system isn't working. And this system has been called, it's a capitalist system. How many times have I heard things like, you libertarians have ruined everything? I've heard that. I know some of you libertarians are like laughing right now. Libertarians have run nothing. I wish we could ruin things. I wish we could have power to do that kind of stuff, because we wouldn't, but we don't have any power. Did President Gary Johnson ruin everything? No, because there was no President Gary Johnson, right? So no, that's not. Did Governor Larry Sharpe ruin everything? No, because there was no Governor Larry Sharpe. So that didn't happen, right? So everything that you are if you're watching right now and you're saying, man, I hate stuff. Stuff is bad. Good. Democrats, Republicans did that shit. Not libertarians. We didn't do that. We had no power whatsoever. So it's not like we came in and fixed things. I wish we could. It was Democrats and Republicans rotating back and forth, both having ultimate power and wrecking everything. Not us. So that's how they see it, Duke. And everyone says, it's not true, you know it. This is a free market system. It's capitalism. See, capitalism's wrecking everything. No, it's crony capitalism, oligarchy is what it actually is. But so now they see it and go, well, clearly it's not working. Therefore, it doesn't work. Therefore, we need people to care. People don't care. And they see it as people caring, not as someone else's responsibility. I hope you understand what I'm saying. That's where their mindset is. That's it. All right, let me keep going.
Every comedian has to learn this lesson the hard way. You may have great jokes, but people will only laugh if they agree with the premise of those jokes. The fact that for at least a decade our schools and universities have acted as work madrasas is sufficient to prime young people for receptivity to socialism. But it does not explain why the ideas are landing as hard as they are. So why is socialism becoming popular? I tried to remind my conservative friends of this at the end of my speech at the first ARC conference when I said, many of you here are conservatives. I'm not. I look terrible in tweed. That's why I identify as politically non-binary.
I like that.
But I can tell you conservatives something. You will never get young people to want to conserve a society and an economy that is not working for them.
That is the most important thing that he said. Right there. You will never get the youth to want to conserve an economy and a system that is not working for them. You can yell at them all day, be mad at them all day, do whatever you want all day. Does not matter. They are simply not going to want to conserve. Why would they? It's not working for them. It's not working for them. And that's the issue. And that's the number one piece. This is the part where I'm teasing about conservatives, because he gets it. Most conservatives just insult and use logic. Well, it doesn't matter if the system's not working. It doesn't matter. Right? So, and this is the part that they're not getting. This is the most important piece.
We will not overcome woke nihilism as long as young people are locked out of the housing market, unable to pair up, unable to have kids, unable to plan for the future.
What do I say all the time on this show? I talk all the time about people not pair bonding. All the time. People not pair bonding. Yes. People not being able to buy houses. Yes. People not being able to get ahead. Yes. Why would I want to keep that system? Why would I want to keep? I would want to keep that system. So you can sit here and be mad all day and oh, back in the communist days, communist China, communist Russia. Why do they care? They're unhappy. I speak about happiness all the time. Happy people don't want socialism. Happy people do not want socialism. That's the piece. Unhappy people want socialism. Make the people happy, they won't want socialism. That's the issue that people just can't understand. He gets it. That's the piece. And all we do is annoy people.
Born in 1982, I am what you might call a geriatric millennial. I entered the workforce in 2003 and worked solidly for over a decade, making a good income as a translator and then as a circuit comedian. Together with my wife's modest income as an artist, we earned a little above the median household income in Britain. We bought our first property, a tiny apartment, at the age of 35. Far from being unusual, this is becoming normal. In London, the average age of a first-time buyer is 35. In New York, it's now 37.
Think about that. The average is 37. To buy some small thing, the average is 37. That's the average. That's embarrassingly bad, right? Why would I care about this system when I can't maybe buy a house till I'm 37 years old? When most people used to buy houses when they were in their 20s. Dude, thank you for the $5. Socialism is me getting off my ass and do what I have to do to survive for the survival of my tribe. Outside political or market forces are secondary to me. Duke, yes. Think about the average millennial, how they were raised, right? The points he was talking about are true. The education system said, don't do that. The education system said, just go to school, get good grades, and magic, you'll have a great job and have a house. That's the issue that they were told. So how do they feel? They feel like they were lied to. They feel like they were lied to. And they kind of were. I'm being forward. They were lied to. So of course they're upset. They're not ready to do that. They weren't raised to do that. They weren't taught to do that. Their environment tells them you're not supposed to have to do that. That's what they were told. So of course they act the way they act. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm explaining why these other people aren't going to get it. Saying this just makes them go, that's you, because you. And they're kind of right. That is you. That is you. These people aren't trained to do that. They weren't raised to do that. How can they? It's a problem. We have to fix it. And you might go, well, Larry, is it my responsibility? If you consider them your tribe, yes. If you don't, no. That's the point.
Counter often wheeled out against this argument is that while certain aspects of life have become more challenging, young people now enjoy access to an immense array of consumer goods, electronics, food variety, and so on. But the problem is that some things matter more than others. Housing is one of them.
True.
Most people, for example, would not want to have children until they have a place of their own.
That is a New York apartment. You can touch both walls for $1,200 per month. I'm not joking. You can touch both walls for $1,200 a month. Yeah. So you basically can you have probably a bathroom in there somewhere, I assume. Maybe a kitchenette, maybe in there somewhere, which is probably next to each other because the plumbing is probably one spot. So it's probably bathroom right next to the kitchen and a spot for your bed. That's it.
And as any parent will tell you,
or that might actually be, you might have a shared bathroom. Possible.
Having kids changes everything. If you can't afford to buy your own place and settle down, you're stuck in a permanent adolescent limbo in which making the right decisions no longer makes sense. I know many people of my generation and younger who, it could be said, waste lots of money on coffees, eating out, and so on, while paying.
Let me touch that piece. This is an important piece too. You will see people very often talk about that. I waste money on this. These young guys, they got to have their avocado toast or they got to have their $6 lattes or whatever, blah, blah. Yeah. Yes. Because they can't imagine. They can't imagine that they're ever going to get ahead. They can't imagine buying a house. They can't imagine buying a car, half of them. So what am I saving for? That's how they feel. What am I saving for? I'm saving? So for what? So I can maybe when I'm 50 buy a house? To hell with that. Let me enjoy my life now. So I'm going to have my $6 latte or I'm going to have my avocado toast. I understand that. When years ago, some of you may know, years ago I used to sell. I was in sales for a long time. One of the reasons why I yap so well, right? I was in sales for a long time. And I used to sell beds to people in homes, expensive beds. And I would sometimes go in these homes, and the home I would go into was obviously a poorer home. Like they didn't have much. They didn't have many positive things in the home. It was in a poor neighborhood, places like that. And the bed would cost several $1,000s. And they would often buy the bed. And I thought to myself, that's odd. But then I go to another house where, it's 3 BMWs in the front yard, and they wouldn't buy the bed. They could obviously afford the bed. I mean, they got 3 BMWs out front. You could afford a bed for a couple $1,000. Got it. Live in a nice neighborhood, big house. I know that you're paying either huge mortgage or you bought the house, and they wouldn't buy. So I went to my vice president of sales, and I said, I don't get it. How come that it doesn't matter how much money they make, whether they buy this expensive bed or not? I don't get it. What I would think that the rich people would buy the expensive bed and the poor people wouldn't. He said, no, it doesn't matter. He goes, you can find the poorest people will sometimes buy this expensive bed. And I said, well, I don't get it. I wouldn't do it. He goes, yeah, but you understand. And this is what he told me. He goes, a lot of people who are in poor neighborhoods and in poor environments, they can't imagine themselves ever leaving. And if you find people like that who can't imagine ever leaving, who can't imagine making the next step, they look at anything that is luxury or important or valuable as why not? Let's enjoy. Let's indulge. And I was like, wow, that made a lot of sense. But there's a second piece of this that I've learned as I've been going through life. And that is in the Western world specifically. In a lot of the world we have, but particularly in the Western world, we've done something that's insanely backward. Over the past, say, 80 years since World War II, since World War II has began, we've made necessities expensive and luxuries cheap. Housing, necessity, expensive. Food, expensive, right? Health, expensive. Medical care, expensive. Education, expensive. Travel, easy. Phones in our hands, pockets, cheap. Computers, cheap, right? Everything that should be expensive, like a luxury should be expensive. Nice clothes, good sneakers. These things should be expensive. They're pretty cheap compared to essentials that are all expensive. I go, wait a minute, Larry, you're right. Well, we should change that. How can we? What we've done is everything that's an essential, we put government in charge. Oh, you think libertarians would come in on this one? Oh, yeah, it would. We put government in charge. Government runs healthcare, education. Yeah. Housing. Yeah. When government controls all these things, what happens? It's expensive. No, Larry, not housing. Literally, Malay in Argentina got rid of all of his rent control. Housing market dropped 30%. In every case, when you pull government out, 3 things happen. Every case, without exception, 3 things happen. 1, accessibility goes up. 2, service gets better. 3, pricing goes down. In every case, there's no exception to that. When you add government on top of it, and or worse, make it a right. We do it all the time. And when that happens, 3 things happen. Accessibility is a problem, service is a problem, and it gets expensive every single time. Well, Larry, we have to make housing a right. It'll just be more expensive. Making housing a right doesn't make more housing. It just makes housing more expensive. In New York State, we made education a right. It's a right. Is it better? No. Is it more accessible? No. It's just more expensive. In fact, the most expensive. That's it. That's how that works. And we see it again and again and again. But when we see the system now and we're told, well, it's because capitalism. All right, I guess that's socialized. That'll fix it.
Rent instead of saving up for their own place.
Yep.
The problem is, though, that saving £200 a month towards a deposit on your first property makes very little sense when the price of that property grows by tens of thousands every year.
Thank you. If you don't see yourself having an ability to ever buy it, why would you save for it? Makes no sense. Absolutely. Look, you want to invest. That's what you want to do. You want to invest. You don't just want to spend. Speaking of investing, I'm going to give you what I think is actually a good investment. Yes, hold on. K. John says, $2 tip, 4 because Larry, you keep us sane. Oh, thank you. Larry, thank you. I appreciate $2. Thank you so much, K. John. I appreciate that. Yes, I try to. I do try to. But I'm going to show you something which I think is kind of important. What am I going to show you? I am going to show you, believe it or not, something that you may really enjoy, and that is a good investment. That investment is, yes, it is. It's Civil. You should actually be looking at Civil. We are now on Civil. We are now part of their network, and you should be on it. Why should you be on it? Here is the reason why. If you look right here, this is the kind of stuff you will see. you will see things like Freedom Fest. You know, I was at Freedom Fest, and here is the lovely and talented Kennedy talking and showing us how cool and things that are happening at Freedom Fest. Russ Ulbricht right there, a debate right here between Dave Smith and I don't want to pronounce the guy's name. I always mess it up, but Alex N. He's a smart guy. I know him, but I forget how to pronounce his name. What does that mean? You are not hearing conflict. You are hearing discussion. That is a big difference. You are hearing discussion. And that is what Civil is showing you. Discuss. You want to be able to talk cool like I talk? Watch some Civil stuff, man. What are you doing? Look here. My show is on it. Of course it is. But not just that. Here, this is Reason. Not just that. We're talking about things like war. One of the best ones ever, Sweden, Lessons for America. Every person tells you, well, we should be like Sweden. Watch this. Watch this one. And you'll make that decision or not. Not just that. Liberty. Come on. Kibbe on Liberty is awesome. Dad Saves America. And the amazing Naomi Brockwell. If you're watching, Naomi, you're amazing. So yes. Yes, I'm just saying, if you're watching, please let everyone know. This is the kind of stuff you want to watch. Head on over to Civil. It's CIVL. You can actually see it right up top, CIVL.com. When you go there, click to get yourself on, if you would. You see up here? Put it up here. See, I have a little LS. I'm already on here. See that? I'm already in. You can sign up. And when you sign up, what you're going to do, you're going to see when you sign up. You're going to see your name pop up in the upper right-hand corner, little green button. Click that button and put in the word Larry, Larry, all caps. It's along the bottom of the screen right now. Put it in. You get the entire thing, $25 a year. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? $25 a year. It's yours. You can see it. And here's the best part. My Wednesday show is a Civil-only show. Yes, you get to hang out with me in the Elite Cool Kids Club on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on Civil. Pop that up. Not only am I there, it is a place where you can get, if you want to be able to have good conversations, Civil is your spot. If you want to have good conversations, Civil is your spot. Civil.com, code Larry, all caps. You'll see it upper hand corner when you put your name in. Do that. Boom. You're in. And you get special access to calls. I might even swear on it. Well, I swear here too. But I might swear more. This could be like Rumble. This could be worse than Rumble. Maybe I have some special Civil Wednesdays and we'll like screaming at each other or something. Not too shabby is all I'm saying. Not too shabby. Let me grab a couple comments. If I could have got a ton of comments before I keep going. Phil says, conservatives are causing a disturbing lack of likes. What is wrong with you conservatives? Put them likes on there, man. What's wrong with you? Oh, lefties are subverting it. Which one? I don't care which one of you. Put the likes on there. Yomir says, Larry for governor. Smart move. I agree. He's right. We should do that. Yes. So I'm looking over on Rumble. Phil, thank you for the $1. He says, hold on where I can find Phil. Phil says, Larry's on Spotify now. That is true. I am on, yes, I'm on Spotify. So you can go to Spotify now if you want to. You'll see me there. See, I'm on Civil, Spotify. I'm on all the cool things. It's working. See that? It's finally working. Aw, I love that. Phil, also thank you for the $1, my friend, over on Rumble says, what do you think about Prager's theory that World War II/Great Depression generation sheltered their kids and left them open to the new left and laundering of socialism in the 60s, 70s? Is this an echo? No, it's not. No, because if you look at it, socialism has been popular every time people have been unhappy. That's when it pops up every time. When people become unhappy, socialism rears its ugly head. So does fascism. Both of them do when people are unhappy. Otherwise, why would they want it? That's the issue. Now, parents aren't helping. Schools are not helping. But there's a second piece I'm going to bring up here coming up, which is the idea of patriotism. Patriotism has been very high in America for a long time, even in the 60s and 70s, even during Vietnam, even during that. And that was a tough time for us. It was. So I think that's simplified, Phil. There may be some truth, but it's too simple. The reality of it is people are unhappy. That's important, right? People are unhappy. That's important. So Kintsugi says, sorry, I didn't mean to cause a social uprising. It is your fault. True. In fact, it's yours specifically. It is literally, you did it. It is all your fault. So let's all yell at Kintsugi and problem will be solved. That's how it works. See that? Then problem will be solved. Yes. Mike Voss is in the house. He says, I'm sure that Harvard and DSA will blame conservatives. Well, yes. Or anyone, as they never accept accountability for actions. True. Reality, desire for cheap, easy comfort, targeting youth in ads, slogans is why. I think a part of that is true, right? And this goes to my other point, where luxury is cheap and necessities are expensive. So what does that mean? We all think now, because to your point, TV and Instagram and TikTok has told us that, hey, Mike, I deserve, nope, word I said, I deserve luxury. So if I can't get luxury, then the world's bad. The world's evil. The world's evil. Yeah, I get that. I see your point. I just think that it isn't just ads. It's social media in general, including ads, obviously, but social media in general. Yeah. So, all righty. Mastermind says, I find it horrifically ironic that Washington, D.C. was named after a man who famously said, I cannot tell a lie. Very valid point. I love that. All right, let me keep going on this piece, and I'll grab some more comments afterwards. I know you guys have a lot of comments on here. I will grab some more. Let me grab this piece if I could. A couple more of these. The guy's spot on, basically. That's why I want to keep saying it.
So the things you actually want deep down are speeding away from you on a train you'll never catch is the real driving force behind the popularity of politicians like Mamdani. Young people are open to socialist demagogues not because they've sat down and done the sums on their policies.
True.
They're open to them because they're desperate and see no way out.
This is the part I cannot stress enough for you guys who scream and yell about the policies, the policies. They don't know. And you get mad at them because they don't know. They don't have time. They don't care. They know shit doesn't work. It's our job, if we want to turn them, to be able to get a message that they will understand. If you are a politician, if you are someone who cares about politics, if you are someone who you're an advocate, you're an activist, it's your job to communicate effectively. And we have failed. Conservatives have failed. Libertarians have failed. Capitalists have failed. Free marketers have failed. We have failed. We got to work harder. Why do you think I keep bugging you to go on civil, damn it? Because we got to learn better. We don't communicate well enough. He's right. They're desperate. And here's the example I'll give you. 2016. Bernie is running for president, and he is killing it. People are rushing to him. They're interviewing people. What's Bernie's policies? They don't know. They don't know. They say he's a rebel. He's against the establishment. Why do they care? Because the establishment doesn't work for them. So Bernie's against the establishment. That's my guy. They don't care. You can be mad at them all you want to, shake your fist or call them stupid or whatever you want. They vote. That's how the system works. Change the system, or that's how it works, right? Then the Democrats decide, oh, no, we're just going to change the rules and just make sure Bernie can't win because we're establishment and we don't care. So they do that, and they basically cheat. Well, not cheat. It's wrong. They don't cheat. They did something which was unethical. They didn't cheat because their rules made it appropriate. So it wasn't actually cheating. It was their rules were set to make sure that they could crush him legally. So, and he went to court and lost. So they did not cheat. They just did something unethical and crushed Bernie. Done. Bernie's crushed. What happened to those people who supported Bernie? Give or take a third said, fine, I'm a Democrat. I'll hold my nose and I'll vote for Hillary. About a third said, I'm out. This is garbage. I'm out. I'm going to either vote third party or I'm not going to vote, or I'm out. I'm disenchanted. I'm out. And about a third went to Trump. Now, how can you go from Bernie to Trump? How is that a thing? You might go. Their policies are so different. They didn't care about the policies. They saw Bernie as a rebel. The rebel went away. They said, where's my rebel? Oh, there's one. His name is Trump. I'm going to go to him. I'll go to that rebel. And they did. They went to that rebel. They didn't care. So now they go over to that rebel. Yes. How do I know? One of the guys who ran my marketing when I ran for governor in 2018 used to run Bernie, Veterans for Bernie. I'm not a Bernie supporter, in case you didn't know. Bernie's policies in mind, they don't really overlap. And he wanted both. Why? All he wanted was a rebel. His point that he is talking about right now is the point. It is the point. If you sit talking about policies, you are screaming into the wind. You are wasting your time. You better have answers to the problems that these people see, or they're going to keep going for the bad guys.
This, by the way, is always how radical and unworkable ideas become popular.
Yep.
The rise of communism and fascism in the late 19th and early 20th centuries was the direct result of the excesses of the Industrial Revolution.
Yep.
During that period, human wealth shot up, but so did wealth inequality, with the people at the top accumulating most of the gains. By the middle of the 19th century, the top 1% of people in Britain owned 50 to 60% of the wealth. Sound familiar? The rise.
It does. We're seeing it happen right now. We're seeing the same thing happen right now. Look, we need people who understand what's happening to the average person. We need people who are able to communicate to the average person. Why do you think I spend so much time doing this show live, taking your comments, meeting people? Speaking of meeting people, speaking of that, guys, don't forget, this week I will be upstate New York, in central New York and the Hudson Valley. If you can come see me, please come see me. Come see me July 3rd, Thursday at 6:30. Does it say 7? 6:30. 6:30 p.m. in Syracuse. It's the rail line. Also Friday, July 4th, 11:30 in Schenectady and 4 p.m. in Putnam County. If you want to see the specific details of where I'm going to be, you can head over to either to Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. And I've posted a banner that you can see it. Gives you details on where to go. If you can be available July 4th at Friday, July 4th, 11:30 or 4 p.m. in Schenectady or Putnam County, please come see me. Or in Syracuse at 6:30 to 7 p.m. Doesn't matter, either one, at the rail line in Syracuse this Thursday. Please come see me if you can. Also, the radio show is now moved to Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I know it was Tuesdays. It is no longer Tuesdays. It is Mondays at 1 p.m. And the member panel show will be Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. If you're going to be on that show, members panel, you can come on, but you got to be a member. Got to be a member. You can see it. Some of you have already posted. I got like 6 or 7 people who want it. I'm going to pick 3 of you, preferably those who have not been on before, to come on the show. And 3 plus me, 4 of us will be on the show together, talking about all kind of cool things, kind of whatever you want. I don't mind. But to be a member, how do you do that? You become one on the YouTube, $49 per month. Click that join button, or on Rumble if you want to. Click that subscribe button during a live. Please pop on if you can, particularly if you can go on YouTube. That would help tremendously. The YouTube membership, click join, $49 per month. The more members we have, the less work I got to do, and I can do more of this. And I want to do a lot more of this, but I do what I can. That's the reality. I do what I can. All right, let me keep going. I have a little bit more of this to pop up, a little bit more of this one. And then I have one more I'm going to show you right afterwards.
The rise of socialist politicians and the popularity of left-wing commentators like Gary's Economics are not the problem. They are.
Gary Economics is very popular. Very popular. But I've debunked a couple of his videos. He's utterly wrong, but he's super popular, and he's very popular.
A symptom. And until the real problems
They're
are addressed, it's Mamdani's all the way down.
Yes. Mamdani is going to be everywhere. He is correct. Let me grab a couple more comments before I've got one more I want to show you. Andrew says, or get a real job. Also true. Yes, get a real job. That's not helpful. Pete coming in. Absolutely. And this is one of the worst things you deal with socialism. They don't understand this important fact. The debt. 36 trillion, 211 billion, 469 million, $371,821.31. And as I spoke, it went up. How many get free buses away? I don't know how, but somehow I guess I'm supposed to. Yeah. Rick says opposition to a thing tends to strengthen that thing. If that opposition seems like hyperbole, that's how we got Trump twice. True. Accurate. 100% accurate. Yes. 100%. All righty. Looking over at Rumble, and Kim has something nice to say about civil. Kim says, I had civil playing all night as I took many naps. Is so calm. No names, no bullying. It's great. I love it. Look at that. See, I wasn't kidding. And now Kim's even smarter. Now to be forward, I mean, I know Kim, she actually sends me a lot of stuff. Kim's already pretty smart. I'm just saying, she's kind of already pretty smart. So she's already like saying stuff, and she sometimes scares me because she's right. I don't want her to be right. Like, I'm like, don't be right, because that sounds too terrible. But yeah, and so now she's watching it. She's getting more and more good stuff. It is not It's not blood sport. I don't want this to be blood sport. I want us to be able to communicate better and learn stuff. Kim gets that. Kim, thank you for that. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's very important. Thank you so much. So, JG says, member for 5 months. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the membership. Membership is important. Thoughts on the rise of populism since 16. Thoughts on Oron McIntyre and Nick Land. I don't know who those people are. You can't just say stuff like that. You got to tell me who these people are. I might know who they are, but just I get a gazillion things. So now I got to work, JG. I got to look these people up now. Damn it. All right. Anyway, let me give you the first one. Thoughts on the rise of populism since 16. Populism actually been a rise before that. Trump was a symptom. Trump was a symptom. Populism actually started, believe it or not, became popular during Obama. We thought, we were lied to, it's not true, but we thought Obama was going to be a populist. We did think that. Not you. I don't know if you thought that, but as a nation, we bought that lie because it was hope and change and it was going to change. Everything was going to be great. He was going to be a populist. Clearly, he was not that, but we thought back then that was the case. And what did Republicans do? They literally put up the most establishment people they could possibly put up. They put the neocons of neocons up. They put McCain and Romney against him. The GOP in those two, what the hell were they thinking? Right? And at that point, the GOP's like, stop it. We want populism too. And then Trump said, I'm that. And they went, okay. I'm sorry, Bernie said it too. In 16, Bernie said, I'm a populist. He's not, but he said he was. Trump said he was. He's kind of, but sometimes not too. But anyway, both of them said so too. I guess both are kind of. It's who do you measure them against? That's what I would say. If you measure them against McCain and Schumer, yes, they are both populists. It's how you measure them against, I guess. So that we already wanted it. Look at some of the most hardcore Trumpsters now and some of the most hardcore Democrats now. Many of them are becoming populists. They are. Bernie and AOC are starting to gain some popularity again in the Democratic world. Why? Because they're trying to lean populist, and the Democrats do not have a deep bench at all. The Democratic Party does not have a deep bench. They are desperate for people. I'm sorry, not true. They're desperate for talented people. Desperate for them. This is why Mamdani's a star. Not that he's that great. He's not a bad politician at all. But compared to the other Democrats, he's a rock star compared to the Democrats, right? Again, you're comparing yourself to the peer group. He's a rock star compared to them. So, of course, they want populism. But even guys like Bannon, Steve Bannon, that guy's about taxing the rich. That guy's going to be a populist. What Americans don't want is the system. The system isn't working. That's why you have a rise of populism. Populism is basically just anti-establishment. And it can be left-leaning or right-leaning. It can be Steve Bannon right-leaning, or it could be, I don't know, Bernie left-leaning, whatever. It could be either. They're absolutely right. Now I got to look up, making me work now. Let me see if I can find who's Oron. I can't know everybody, guys. I try. I'm pretty smart, but I'm like super smart and modest too. In fact, modesty is probably my best of all my awesome traits. I think, yeah, I would say of all my amazing traits that I have so many amazing traits, modesty is probably my best. All right, so who are these people? I don't know who they are. Are they smart? Do I have to watch these guys now? Never heard of them. I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I never heard of them. I guess I should watch them. I don't know who they are. Sorry. Here's my thoughts on them. I don't know. Never heard of them. Now I got to watch them. I guess they're political commentators and philosophers. That's what Google just told me. I will believe that Google's telling the truth, I guess. Sorry, I wish I had more, brother. I don't know. I have to look them up now. All right. You and Lunatic always give me homework. It's fine. I do the homework. But yeah, you guys always give me homework. You're the guys who always give me homework. Yeah, you too. There we go. All righty. James says the only type of ism I care about is third party ism. True. Yes, I like that. Yep. Dave says, and Uncle Bernie has 3 homes and he's a socialist. So it's possible for me to have 3 homes as well. You know what, Dave? We all deserve 3 homes, don't we? Yes. Mike Voss just threw up in his mouth a little bit when I said that. Yeah, we all deserve 3 homes. Yes, we do. And if we don't have one, the government should give me 3 homes. I only have 1. Government owes me 2. I deserve 2 more homes, Dave. You're right. I agree with you. The government should give all of us, if you have 1 home, the government should give you 2 more. I agree. Let's do that. That's amazing. Absolutely true. So, Roy, watching on Facebook, thank you. The more crony capitalists on the right exploit the system for their friends, rather than let the market work, more and more will look to extremes on the left. You're right. I hate that being true. And this was one of my worries, still my worry about Elon Musk. I wanted, Roy, and you know me, I wanted Doge to be real. I wanted it to work. I wanted it to actually cut waste, fraud, and abuse. I wanted it to work. It didn't. It didn't, right? I did. I wanted it to work. I am going to hope, and this is just hope. I'm in my feels right now, Roy. I have no evidence of this. This is just in my feels. I want it to be to where next year there's actually a lower budget, that the ideas are actually put into place and next year is a lower budget. I have no evidence of that. That's just my feels. That's all it is. It's just my feels. So yeah. Speaking of feels, I want to talk about something else here. In the past, some of you may have remembered that in the past I had talked about. In the past I'd had a sponsor, the Advocates for Self-Government. I love the Advocates. Why? Because the Advocates for Self-Government do something similar to what Civil does, but in a different style. They use political quizzes. Many of you have taken the world's smallest political quiz. You've ever taken that before, right? The smallest political quiz. I'm going to ask you right now if you would consider doing it again. Yes, I'm going to ask you to consider doing it again. If you head over to the Advocates right now, you'll see this. Now, in the description right now here, the description right now on YouTube, on Sharpe Way YouTube, you will see a link. If you're watching on Sharpe Way YouTube, go to the description, click that link, and you'll go here. Larry, why don't I just go to theadvocates.org? You can if you want to, but then I don't get credit for you going there. So you want to give me the cool credit? You have to go through that link. So go to that link that is there on Sharpe Way YouTube page. I couldn't get on all the stuff today. I tried to. I will get on the stuff, but please use that specific link. Click that link, head on over there, and take this test. Should I take a test, Larry? Yes. If JG can make me do homework and Lunatic can make me do homework, you can take a test. It's free. Go there. It's this fat. Look at it right here. You can see it. Political issues. Should government censor speech? Right? Adults should have full body autonomy. Government should have. You're going to click. I agree. Maybe I disagree. Click all the way down. Then there's economic issues too. Click all the way down. Do it. Click bonus issues. And then click calculate my results. Now, when you click calculate my results, they're going to ask you for your email address. You don't have to give it. Click the X, you get your results. But if you're going to save your results, you got to put your email in. Now, should you put your email in? Yes, put your email in. They will then send you cool libertarian stuff, which is always cool because it's libertarian. So just click it, give them your email address and click. You get cool libertarian stuff. And it's not crazy. It's like once a week. It's fine. I get it all the time. It's fine. Once a week. Anyway, take the test. If you don't want to put your email, don't click the X. You'll still get your results. And you'll see where you land on the world's smallest political quiz. It's amazing. It's fun. It's cool. And more important, it gets you talking. It gets you thinking. You can send this to somebody else and they start talking and they start thinking. So please take this test. It's really cool. And when you have it, do me a favor. There's going to be a picture of where you land on a Nolan chart. Whatever you have, take that, cut and paste it, right? Cut and paste it. How old am I? Take a screenshot, whatever, and put it on social media and tag me, right? Put it on YouTube, put it on whatever, put it on X, tag me in it so we can see it that you're actually taking it. It does matter because here's the best part. After this, there's a whole bunch of other cool tests. There's tests on little quiz on election integrity, national security, government debt and money, monetary policy. Don't take that. Don't take that one. You're going to go crazy. Anyway, or identity politics. I know you love that. Mike, take identity politics. That'll make you scream. Take that one. Take any of these. You'll see it. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Please enjoy this plot. It's free. It matters because this keeps our movement going forward. So please do me a favor. When you have a second, pop on over there using the link that I have in Sharpe Way YouTube. Take a quiz or two, post the results. It's amazing. It helps out tremendously. Please do so as soon as you can. All right. Thank you for that, guys. I'm going to keep going. There's one more I'm going to bring up, though. This one is something which I think is similar, right? It's not the same, but it's similar. This is talking about American patriotism and how that's been changing recently also. Another piece, I think they're linked. I think these two are linked.
American pride is in free fall. New Gallup polling finds a mere 58% of adults in the U.S. report being proud to be an American. This is a 9-point decline from 2024, marking a new record low and 5 points behind the recent low in 2020. It is worth noting the survey was conducted before the U.S. attack against Iran in late June.
It's not surprising that the divide over American pride splinters by party lines. Barely 1/3 of Democrats say they're extremely or very proud to be American, compared to a whopping 92% of Republicans and 53% of independents.
Now, this part, really, in my view, this is a real attack on Democrats. And you might not take it that way, but I do see it that way, right? This says Democrats aren't proud of being Americans. That's what this says. And if you ask, a lot of that's true. And here's how you know. When a Democrat says this phrase, in this country, that's how you know. I'm not joking. Listen to Democrats talk. Well, blah, blah, blah. But in this country, when they say that, they don't like America. That's the phrase to listen for. Well, so-and-so, but in this country, but in this country, what does that mean? Every other country's better. You don't hear Republicans say that. You don't. I don't mean to be cruel. You don't hear independents say that. You don't hear libertarians say that. You don't hear that. Only Democrats say that shit. And only Democrats who don't like America. They will say it all the time, constantly. In this country, you know. This is an example of that. That's the weird part. So I'm going to pop over to Rumble. Let's see here. JJ says, you could argue Pat Buchanan was the godfather. Oron, populist, contributed to The Blaze, and Nick Land, author Oron, refers to often. Oh, okay. Oron flows the land that nationalism and Western exceptionalism. I'm not sure what you're saying. Okay, I guess I look these guys up. You guys give me homework. All right, I will look these guys up. I'll do it. I'll check out what they are. I don't know them. My worry is, right, this is the part that too many of these, out of those 90% Republicans and Pat Buchanan and all of them, a lot of them aren't populists, my friend. They're neocons. There's a difference, a big difference. Remember, the difference. Populists are sometimes right. Neocons are never right. That's the difference. So if the person you're talking to is never right, neocon. Sometimes right, populist. Neocons are never right. They're always like, the answer is bombing. How do we handle this person? Have we bombed them yet? No. The guy's neocon, right? That's his first answer. Neocon's first answer is bomb. Second answer is something else, right? But always bomb's the first answer. So that's neocons. So out of that 92%, which again, 90% is nice for Republicans, but at least half of that, like 46% of that, neocons. We're great because we bomb people. That's why they're proud. The more we're bombing, the higher it is, right? So that's half of them. But it's still, this is still an insult to Democrats. It just is. But half of those Republicans are neocons. So anyway, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I know I just made some of you neocons angry. But I'm just saying, you neocons who are watching, I still love you. Please keep watching. You're just always wrong. But that's okay. Because the best part about you neocons is you will never accept it. You will never accept you're always wrong. You will always have an excuse as to why you're wrong and then why it's somehow a Democrat's fault, even though you're. But you got to be forward. You know what? Let me take some of that back. Because since Trump came aboard, a whole bunch of neocons are Democrats. So I got to take that back a little bit. You know what? Let me step back a little bit on that one. Now a bunch of Democrats, neocons. That's true. So neocons aren't all. To try to find a difference between a neocon and a neoliberal, that's it's hard to find that. So yes, JG tells me they're not warmongering. Good. Okay, they're not neocons. Great. I will check them out. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, so I got the scoop now, which is good. I did get the scoop. All right, let me grab a couple comments on these before I keep going. I go unwatch some more of that if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Mike says there's amazing disproportionate amount of socialist mass murderers that gain power via charisma. That not a reason to repeat this era. It's a yes, but you're right. But the people at the top of this socialist piece who are mass murderers, they aren't socialists. They use socialism as a method of control and power, which it does well. Like it's a good tool. That's why they use it. But they're not mass murderers because they're socialists. That makes any sense. Being a socialist doesn't make you a mass murderer. Socialism is just a very effective tool to be a mass murderer. That makes any sense. So they use it, right? It's hard to be a mass murderer as a libertarian. I guess you could do it, but man, it's hard. Socialist, simple. I mean, way easy, right? So socialism isn't by default going to make an individual a mass murderer. But mass murderers love using socialism because the tool is so easy to use to commit mass murder. I hope that I'm nuancing it, Mike. I'm giving you nuance there, right? That's the issue. So, all right. Mastermind Hour says rent for 20 years and try to come down with the down payment. Yeah. Mastermind, you're right. Of course that. Yes. Mike says happiness is a factor of expectation, and the entitled generation have unreal expectations beyond reality. That's a destabilizing factor. True. And I go back to that, right? This is the point that when Duke is talking, Duke is saying you got to do X, Y, and Z. Yes. But to your point, Mike, their expectations are out of this world. Out of this world. The expectation was, and because every parent said, you're my baby, so you're special. You're not special. You just like me. We all just the same. I mean, I'm probably better looking than you because I'm better looking in general. But I'm just saying, except for that, we're just all the same. We're just people. We're just people. I mean, Mike's good looking too. Mike, you good looking too. Not good looking as me, but you good looking too. But the point being, we're just all people. We're not special because we're born. People were told that. You're special not because of what you achieve. You're special because you were born. That right there makes things, that's problems right there. Not just that. Just go to school, take tests, go to college, and magically there'll be a job waiting for you where you make $100,000 lazily sitting behind a computer, and your Prince Charming or your Princess Charming will show up and everything will be good, right? Yeah, none of that's true. None of that is true. So they've been lied to. And now they're $100,000 in debt or more. That's destabilizing. You're right. But here's the thing, though. They look at their parents. Well, maybe not Gen X parents, maybe, but surely boomer parents, if you have boomer parents. Yeah, they did fine. They bought houses when in their 20s. That's all gone, man. That's all gone. I think you're right. It's a big point. It's a very good point. So, all right, let me grab some of these. Patty says, why can't we have nice things? Why is going to the coffee shop and open mic not allowed? I'm with you, Patty. We should be able to. We should be able to. I'm saying you're right. We should be able to, but we can't because we've made necessities impossible to have for most of us. Right? What's supposed to happen, Patty, in the world that we were told was going to happen, Patty, was we would all be able to buy a home. We'd all be able to have a car. We'd all be able to have a decent job with benefits. That's what we were told from the 50s on. That was supposed to happen. And then you'd have enough money that you would spend most of your time eating at home. That was the perfect spot. You eat with your family at home usually. But on the weekends, you would go out to a nice dinner or a coffee shop or an open mic or whatever's the thing you enjoy, right? Comedy show, whatever's the thing you enjoy, you'd be able to go to that. And you'd have it with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, with your family. If you had a family, you go to a family restaurant, whatever. That was supposed to happen. That's not happening. I think we should be able to have nice things. I think the average American, is my camera? All right. I bounce around so much, my camera doesn't know what to do with itself. So I think sometimes we do look at that. And we're supposed to be able to have that. But no, So I'm not saying you're wrong, Patty. I wish you were right. John, thank you so much. New York City government-run grocery stores will be such a disaster. It might end up teaching some people a valuable lesson to not advocate for dumb policies when they move to Florida. That's the problem, moving to Florida. John, you're right. What will happen is if Mamdani wins and they have New York City government-run stores, the other stores will be in trouble. So what will they do? They'll give more money to government stores and make more government stores. So eventually they'll run all the regular stores out and it'll just be government stores. There'll be government stores and Walmart. That's what will happen. So big government monopoly and big private sector monopoly, who will work hand in hand, and somehow, this is what will happen, somehow Walmart will sell to those government stores so that Walmart makes money no matter what. That's what will happen. So Walmart will make a deal with their vendors to sell either to Walmart and to the government stores, but either way, Walmart gets a cut. Guarantee that will happen. Guarantee that will happen. That's because that's what I would do if I was Walmart. That's what I would do. They're as smart as me. They'll figure it out. They'll get a cut off the government-run stores. Because remember, the government-run stores have to get their food and stuff from someplace, right? Well, Walmart has the entire, they're vertically integrated. They have the whole thing. So it'll come from Walmart or Amazon or whatever, right? So Amazon or Walmart, they'll be the ones who fill the government stores. People don't see that. Well, government stores, no. Someone's got to sell to the government store. So remember, there's not just retail, there's also wholesale. And Amazon makes money on that, and so does Walmart. You know who doesn't make money on wholesale? The mom and pop retailer. They're the only one who doesn't make money on wholesale. So when you put the New York City government-run store in there, the Walmarts and Amazons will still make money because they're just wholesale it to them. Done and done. They still make cash. So I'm saying it's worse than you say, John. You're right and worse. You're right and worse. So Patty, a lot to say tonight. My daughter, 24, and her fiance, 26, went to the bank looking to buy a house. Both very good jobs, and were told to come back in 5 years when you have credit history. Patty, yes. I tell you what I did with my daughter, who now is only 21. When she got out of college at 20, because I got her to graduate early because I can't stay in college, so I got her out early. She graduated at 20, and then I put her on my credit card. So that she can start getting credit. Yes, immediately. My daughter has better credit than I do now. Yes, I gave her one of my credit cards, and I put her on it because she couldn't get a credit card. So I just put her on that credit card, trusted her. I put her on my credit card. I gave her that credit card. That's your credit card now. You pay it off. You deal with it. She's been very diligent for over a year now. She's been very diligent. Her credit now better than mine. And she's 21. I saw that coming a mile away. And I was like, I'm going to give it to her because I knew that would happen. She's going to want to buy a house one of these days. She's going to, hopefully she has a fiance one day. She has a fiance now. Hopefully she'll have one. Maybe when she's 24, she'll have a 26-year-old fiance. I hope so. And maybe they'll be able to buy a house. She will have credit by then. Hopefully the guy is savvy enough and he has it too. Yes. I thought of that already. I was like, oh my God, that's going to be a problem. So yes. All right. Let me keep grabbing these if I can. I have so many of these, guys. I appreciate all of these. Yes. John says, Larry, I'm happy you're on Spotify again, so I can listen to you easily in my car with Android Auto. Oh, thank you. Yes, I am back on Spotify. I was on like years ago. I got off because I don't know why, and now I'm back on, so life is good. There we go. So, yes, I am back on. Let me grab a couple more of this, if I could, a few more minutes of this.
Young Americans feel pretty grim too. According to Gallup, only 4 in 10 Gen Zers expressed a high level of pride in surveys spanning the past 5 years. This silent generation, that is, those born before 1946, consistently reported having the most pride, followed by baby boomers, Gen X, then millennials.
Because everything's been getting worse. The reason why these people are not proud, the reason why these people like socialism, is the system isn't working for them. That's the reason. The system isn't working for them. No other reason. It's that simple.
The takeaway is that each generation seems to be less patriotic than prior generations.
Yep.
Gallup started tracking this data since January of 2001. Pride among Americans of all stripes remained high in the aftermath of 9/11, but began to steadily trend downwards in the following years.
And that's the issue, right? You can say, well, education's been bad. True, been bad for years. This has been bad. True, been bad for years. But the actual downward trend is a relative new trend. That's the issue. It's a relatively new trend. Look, if you don't like America, I get it. I'm upset. I want you to like America. But more importantly, like me. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Do that now. Why are you looking at me? Click that button. It does matter. Mr. Rhythm loves it when you do it because that makes him, Al Gore, Rhythm, it makes him happy when you click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. So please click it. I know I bug you, but I get banned, shadow type all the time. I got to grow. Let's help me grow. Click that button. Also, share this someplace. Share it into a Facebook page. Share it in, repost it on X, right? Share it on X. Do that so people can see it and pop through. It does matter. Please do it. If you haven't followed me on Sharpe Way, if you haven't followed me on Facebook, X, and Rumble, go do that. Follow me on Sharpe Way YouTube. Please subscribe to me if you have not already on Sharpe Way YouTube and click that all notifications button if you would. If you want your chat, I know I'm behind on chat sometimes, so many come in, but if you want your chat to go right to the front and you want to support the show, no worries. Here's what you do. Super chat me. Super chat me on YouTube or rant me on Rumble. I grab either one of those as fast as I can to get them going. So please do one of those two. Super chat me on YouTube or rant me on Rumble, and I'll get you right to the front and bring you up immediately. So please do that if you can. Let's keep going.
So I feel like this is one of our discussions that I often enjoy, where it's more discursive and it's not a particularly partisan topic.
I think it's partisan.
Pretty clearly to be a decline in pride, or people who say they're extremely proud, certainly, to be American.
Yep.
What's your thesis as to why?
Oh, he dodges. I like to dodge. But before I go, this is the part that I really like. Garrett, coming on in. Thank you, my friend, as always. Gifting 5 Sharpe Way memberships. Guys, please grab these memberships if you can. Memberships matter. Please grab them if you can. Remember our rule. If you made $20 million last year, you may not take one of these Sharpe Way memberships. That's the rule. You made 19 million, you can take one. But if you made $20 million last year, I don't want you grabbing one of these free memberships. Pay the $4.99, cheapo. You made $20 million. All right? 19 is fine. 18 million, fine. But 20 million is the number. That's the cutoff. 20 million, don't grab it. Otherwise, please grab one of these awesome Sharpe Way memberships. Grab as many as you can. Remember, membership does have its privileges. It does have its privileges. Remember, if you are a member, you can send me stuff to review. Remember what I reviewed yesterday? That was sent to me, right? People send me stuff. Members going to send me things, and I will try to review them if I can. You also have to come on a membership panel show, which is Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Please, if you can, join, become a member. I'll pick 3 people, and membership does have some benefits. So thank you so much for that. As always, coming in hot as he does so many times. Garrett, great. Thank you, my friend.
That is.
I think a huge part of it is the education system.
True.
History in particularly the K through 12 environment has been increasingly focused on America's wrongs as opposed to Americans' rights. I mean, even right now, my husband is finishing his college degree at University of Kentucky.
Congratulations to Mr. Jerk.
Yes, and sometimes he shares with me what he's learning in class, and he's taking an early American history class. And I was kind of stunned that the first 3 weeks of that class were entirely focused on slave trade and nothing about the American Revolution or the Articles of Confederation or the...
Now, this is a part that can be very controversial. And I want to touch this, as I know some people don't like touching this, but I absolutely will. The problem is we go one side or the other. You have most people who are more on the right who say, slavery's in the past, who cares, don't worry. Right? You should talk about it. You should. Of course you should. But it doesn't mean you should focus on it. It was an important part of our history, and we should talk about it. Of course we should. It seems like common sense. But the problem is now you have people on the left who do this. They go, oh, you just don't want to talk about slavery. No, I just don't want to focus the entire part of American history on it. We're not focusing everything. Yes, you are. I know. I have kids who go through school who don't know what the Articles of Confederation were. They don't. I'm not joking. Most kids I know don't know what it is. They couldn't tell you. They don't know what it is. But Boy, they can tell you how much America's oppressed everybody for the past 400 years. They can tell it all day long. Now, am I going to sit here and say, well, America's perfect? No, America has oppressed lots of people for many. True. And America has done wonderful things. It has been a terrible a place for people of color, for Black people for 200 years. Yes, and it has produced Martin Luther King Jr., right? It has done both of those things. And we can bring both of those up. They're both true. And the problem is you have people who will say, let's erase it all, or let's talk only about it, or worse, people who will say, if you don't want to talk about it the way they want you to talk about it, you are erasing history, which is also a lie.
Principles that founded the country. And they only got into those concepts when they were talking about the, of course, true and fair conflict between the cries for liberty while slave owning persisted in the United States. And I think it's obviously important for young people to learn about those concepts and to understand the wrongs in our history so that
the problem that you're having, and you see it everywhere, I see it all the time, I talk to people all the time, again, I have young daughters, is that the good parts are virtually ignored. And that's the problem. America is a nation with a very checkered past. I complain about our past and our history all the time, but I'm not moving. You don't see me packing my bags. And I could move to whatever. I go some other country somewhere. I could. You don't see me moving. So I can complain all I want, but I'm not moving.
That we can learn from it. But sometimes an outsized focus on it can lead to this depression of pride in our country and patriotism. And the idea that we do have founding principles that are really something to be very proud of. And I also think just generally, people have a hard time compartmentalizing the idea that you could be critical of policies that your country has or actions that they take while still overall retaining a sense of joy and pride in being a member of that country.
Let's be clear. You can't see now because this thing's in the way, but I literally have an American flag right here because my father was a veteran. It's his flag. I have literally a tattoo right here, USMC. You can see it. I'm clearly proud to be American. Absolutely. And I can say our government has done some very stupid things, but I'm proud to be American. I am. My daughter's proud to be American, and she grew up in this system, right? I'm happy. I'm lucky that I was raised here. I'm lucky that I was born here. I'm happy that I'm not complaining that I'm born here. Again, I'm not moving, right? This is still my country. I run for office here, right? So I'm still in. The most important piece that people don't understand is how can a Gandhi function? How can a Martin Luther King Jr. function in the British Empire or in America? How can that? Why isn't there one, or why wasn't there one in Russia? Why wasn't or isn't there one in, say, China? Why don't they have that? Because of what this woman, Amber, just said. Because still America is built on the principles. And when MLK Jr. says, I'm a man, and therefore I deserve rights. If you're in China, they go, shut up, go to jail. Russia, shut up, go to jail. America, they go, damn it. We do have a constitution and we are built on that shit. Damn. I still want you to go to jail, but why? Because we have that. There's an argument. The British Empire, as much as the British Empire was an empire, when Gandhi said, I am a member of the British Empire, do I not get rights? And they're like, we got to give you like rights and stuff because of our system. The infrastructure and system and principles of a culture or a nation are valuable, and that's how you get an MLK or how you get a Gandhi. Where's the other ones that say, I don't know, sub-Saharan Africa, other than South Africa, which is again British Empire. Outside the British Empire, where do you find it? You don't. You don't. You don't found these principles any place outside of our father. Yes, our father's British Empire. We're the son. We're the American Empire. We took the business over from our father. Our father, the Magna Carta, 1215, is my number right? I think 1215. 1215, Magna Carta. That sets the tone. 800 years ago, sets the tone. Now we have a constitution. Sets the tone. Not perfect by any way. No way perfect. I'm not going to sit here and say tons of problems everywhere. I'm mad about it all the time. But that's the culture, the beginning. And most of our kids do not understand that. They don't get it. They don't understand. They don't understand why in Germany you can put someone in jail for insulting you. I'm not making that up. Why? They don't have a constitution like that. Germans don't have that kind of background. They don't have that. That's not their thing. Look, I'm German. I love my brothers. They don't have that. That's not them, right? They don't have that. The French don't even have that. They don't have it. The Poles have it. The Russians, they don't have that. The British Empire had that. Our dad had that. And we took that from our dad, and now we have it. That does matter. All the problems we have, that does matter. And that's what people should understand. And
overall, the beautiful thing about America is that we are not perfect, but we're always striving to reach those values.
Well, that's not always true. That's not always true. We're not always striving. Generally speaking, America's striving to become a fascist state, either on the left or the right. I don't care which side you are. America's striving to become an autocracy. That's what America's striving. Our establishment is striving for that. The people are fighting to make things better, but the establishment's not at all. It's fighting to become an oligarchy, a fascist, whatever. Not that.
This is one of the things that makes these kind of discussions interesting is that I think there's just it sort of exposes broader sort of philosophical differences, because
he's going to try to spin this. He's going to try, because it's his side that hates America. So he's got to spin it to be like, well, we don't really hate America. They hate America, but they're going to try to spin it like they're not. Here comes the spin.
The question of what is taught and what should be instilling pride in America and what detracts from pride in America. We could have a very long sort of granular conversation about that. But I
go ahead.
Just feel that
spin.
If you look at even relatively recent American history, I consider some of the most patriotic figures in recent American history to be dissenters of one kind or another. I mean, Dr. King is the obvious example, right? But I mean, people like Cesar Chavez or Dolores Huerta or Harvey Milk. I mean, these people, I think, are patriotic Americans.
All of them that he just mentioned, true. But all of them only are able to survive in an environment that has a background that says you have rights, you have liberty. Do you think Harvey Milk could have survived in, say, St. Petersburg, Russia? No. Impossible. MLK could have survived, say, in Warsaw, Poland? No. Of course not. Impossible. Chavez could have survived in, I don't know, Democratic Republic of Congo? No. Burkina Faso? No. Egypt? No. None of them could survive in this. So he's right, but it still takes our background for those people to thrive.
Fighting for, in Dr. King's case, obviously, more equitable treatment of Black people, or more equitable treatment of farm workers, or more equitable treatment of gay people. And so those actions, those campaigns, those seem to me to be patriotic. And I don't think...
But they can only be patriotic in our system. Doesn't happen in Japan. Doesn't happen in China. Then it happens in Korea. Either Korea, North or South. Neither. You can name country after country after country. These people could not exist in those countries. They'd just be in jail or dead.
The flaws or shortfalls that those people pointed out about American society in their time should be seen as unpatriotic. I think
no one says that. No one. Okay, maybe somebody does, but is there someone out there going, that MLK, what a terrible guy? Is someone saying that? That guy, he fought for Black people. It's terrible. That's un-American. Is that a thing? He's making, it's a straw man argument. It's a straw man argument because he knows he's wrong. It's a straw man argument. No one, that guy who fought for farmers' rights, what a terrible guy. Is that what they're saying?
Pointing out of those things is a patriotic action in itself.
I don't think the point that I'm making is that people who are fighting for a better future or advocating for the country to live up to its values are unpatriotic. My point is that an outsized focus sometimes on the places where America falls short can lead young people who aren't able to see the bigger picture to lose patriotism. And I think that's why we see this split between Democrats and Republicans and the split between older Americans and Gen Z.
Now, I'm not always an Amber Duke fan. You guys know I've hammered her many times. In this one, she's on the money. She's right. I don't want to be mean, but she's right. She's correct in this idea. Education does matter, and it's making things look bad.
Which is that people who view these individuals fail to recognize that these individuals also had deep pride in their country, and they view the shortcomings.
MLK and Harvey Milk, they loved America. They loved America. They wanted America to be a better place. They weren't anti-American. Even when MLK was talking about being more socialized in what he was doing, he wanted America to be better. He wasn't doing it because he liked Russia. That wasn't what he was saying. That's not what it was at all. They were all patriotic Americans. They were.
As a reason to not be proud.
But you see, the linkage is, I think, that it is in part, the teaching of past failures that paves the way or rationalizes the way to a better nation.
That is literally demonstrably false. What he just said. So you got to teach all the bad things so we can pave the way. Literally false, demonstrably false. When MLK was coming up, there were segregated schools. What are you talking about? Harvey Milk, it was against the law to be gay. What are you talking about? You don't teach it. You live the life. What you do is you teach the good and go, why can't I have that? Now we teach America sucks in most of our classes. Where's your Harvey Milk now? There isn't one. Where's your MLK now? There isn't one. They don't exist now. As you make shitty schools like we have now who just preach America's bad, you get shitty activists. He's demonstrably wrong. He's just spinning it because he wants to. So you got to teach that America's bad. So that why? So people can leave America and yell? No, you want people who say, wait a minute, America is a shining city on the hill. Why do I not have that? America's a great country. Why haven't we done that? That's what we want. And then I go, wait a minute, yeah, America's great. Why is that? I want it to be better. That's what I do. I run for office because I know what New York State can be and what it should be and what it has been. I don't want to hear just, oh, everything sucks, maybe. I don't want to hear that shit. Why would I don't care then. I live in a terrible place. I don't care. I pack up and I leave. He is demonstrably wrong. He's spinning it. This is not a good thing.
In the future, the whole reason that progress is made is because injustice becomes intolerable at a certain point.
Yes, not because I was taught it. The people who are being taught injustice are not being done and injustice done upon. You got a bunch of privileged kids in elite Ivy League schools going, injustice. They're not, there's nothing wrong with them. They're good. They're all privileged. MLK was not privileged, right? Harvey Milk wasn't privileged. He's demonstrably wrong. So you're saying what we got to do is teach privileged kids how bad off they are so they can become spoiled brats and ruin shit. No, he's utterly wrong.
And I think that is how the process works. And if
he's utterly wrong.
And I'm not saying you're doing this, but certainly some people in the conservative sphere seem to me
damn
to
you
want
conservatives,
to create
it's your fault.
A kind of sanitized version of American history.
That? See, you conservatives just sanitizing America. That's your problem. See that, Mike? It's your fault. You know that's your fault.
That greatly minimizes the wrongs that were done and therefore takes away.
Okay, I want to be very clear. This is Democratic propaganda. It is. It minimizes, takes away things. There is no one, not one person in America, zero. If you have been to school at all and you're in America, you know slavery existed. If you don't know slavery existed, it's because you have a mental issue that stops you from remembering things. And some people have that issue. If you have that specific affliction where you cannot remember things, you won't remember their slavery. But if you can remember things, you know there was slavery. You know that. You may not know every intricate detail of it. You might not, but is it required? You know at one point, Black people were not treated as humans. You are aware of that. You also know that at one point, women couldn't vote. You do know that. If you went to school at all, you know that. There's no sanitized. What he says is, you're not calling every white male evil. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. If you don't call all white men evil, you are sanitizing. That's how he sees it. And that's wrong. There were lots of evil white men. True. And lots of very good white men too. Lots of them. Lots of them. In fact, most white men I know are pretty good people. There's some bad ones. Most of them are really pretty good. So yeah, this is straw man spin.
Away from the impetus to right those wrongs.
Well, I think unfortunately in a lot of the curriculum that I see currently in the school system is that they don't get to that final part, which is this is creating a better way. And it turns into a defeatist attitude of, well, there's injustice now, so America can't possibly be great.
Yep.
And even just looking at the slavery issue again, I mean, the fact is that the American Revolution and those values of fighting for liberty, fighting for freedom, fighting against an unjust tyranny of the British Crown actually paved the way for emancipation, because
she's not wrong. That part is true. Absolutely. Phil's over on Rumble and he says, thank you for the $1, Phil. Thank you for the Rumble rant. When Frederick Douglass gave his what to the N-word, yes, is the 4th alive. And I think the word he means is Negro. I can say that word. He can't. I have enough melanin to say that. But yes, that was the word. And remember, that word was an okay word back then. That was okay. My father grew up, that was okay. I remember being called that when I was a kid. It wasn't bad. It was better than the other N-word. So we were good with it. Now it's changed. I get it, but it's fine. He specifically appealed to the values America wasn't living up to. But we said we believed in. Same with MLK. True. Phil, home run. That is accurate. America absolutely has made errors. I talk about it all the time. But without our core values, there's no reason to change them. There's no reason to change them. Why would you if you don't have the core values? And the core values are why we're able to change. That's the glory. That's why we're able to change. Look, this has been a very good back and forth, as you've seen. It's a good conversation. This is not blood sport. This is us talking. This is valuable for us to think. Why do I say that? Why am I sitting there to tell you that? And the reason is there are other places you can get that. And one of those places, of course, you knew I was going to say it because it does matter, is actually civil. That's why civil is here. See, right here, in Search of Greatness, another good story you can watch, another thing you can watch here. And the best part is there's more coming on civil. This isn't just the only thing you're going to see. You're going to see more things coming on civil because we are trying at civil to not be that conflict machine of just yell, scream back and forth, but instead be that place you can go and actually have a conversation and learn so that you can talk to people. The way that you can move forward is through what you've seen on my page 1,000 times, mutual respect. You hear me do it all the time. When people get mad at me, what do? I put it up. You see me put it up here. Literally, I put it up here all the time. You see me talk about it constantly. Respect, talk back and forth, change people. Civil is going to help you do that. You can see, look at people talk about John Mackey. John Mackey was a guy who wrote Conscious Capitalism, trying to make you think how we can make capitalism work for other people. Mark Pellegrino now has the capitalist party, talking about how capitalism can actually make people better, right? These types of things is what you'll see here again and again and again. Dad Saves America. Come on now. Great show. Great show. Good stuff. Good guess. These are the things that we can get done. Here, they said it can't be done. That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff we can do in America, right? They say it can't be done, but we do it. But we do it, right? This is what makes America great. This is what made us great. The type of thing that will motivate you. But I go one step further, though. This is like the academy. You see it. Law 201, philosophy 201, right? You can actually learn things without having to go to college. Yes, without having, I'm not joking. This is the kind of high quality stuff you get here, and there will be more. Not just that we're creating community over here. We have a community here now. I know you're like, Larry, but your chat's awesome. It is. You're not wrong. It's an awesome chat. And we can create a community over there also. So if you want to check it out, Wednesday's show is we get the special show. Most of the shows on Civil for me are going to be about how we can be happy, how it can be better, because that's what I care about. You're going to see it on Civil, tomorrow's show, and on Wednesday show, 7 p.m. on Civil. You want to see that show, head over to civil.com. Make yourself an account. When your name pops up, you're going to see upper hand corner, a little green button. Click that green button. Put in the code Larry, capital Larry. Put that in. $25 for the entire year. It's a steal. They're robbing you. No, you're robbing them. You're robbing them. Someone's being robbed. Anyway, $25 is the point. Not that bad. Can be done. Great stuff. Kim's already on. She's loving it. I'm on. I'm loving it. We're all loving it. And you get to see my stuff special tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So when you can, pop on with that. It does matter. Let me grab, if I could, the last little bit of this one. I think you'll enjoy this last little bit. Amber Duke is really killing it on this one. She's doing a good job here. I got to give it to her. She's doing a good job on this one.
Not only did it, in the minds of a lot of Northern whites who had a very heavy religious background, see that there was this fundamental tension, but it also informed Black Americans who were in slavery that they were not being treated with the same rights or being fought for the same rights as the white individuals.
And an example of that, if you notice, there are a lot of Black families that have several names. 3 names are very common: Washington, Freeman, and White. Why? Washington, the first American president, because now I'm an American. So I take the name Washington. What do you mean? Remember, if you were a slave, you weren't human. So you didn't have a family name because your family didn't matter. You only had a first name like a dog or a cat. You only had a first name. So many people, many freedmen, when they became free, either took the name, not all, obviously. Some of them took the name of their slave owners, right? I'm Black on my father's side. So Sharpe is the name of the people who owned my family. I know it sounds horrible, but that's the way it is. That's many Black people who are freedmen, who are American descendants of slaves, have that, right? You take the name of the farm you came off of, right? That's it. The plantation you came off of. That's the name you take, right? So you have that. Or they took Washington because America's first president, because they wanted to be American. Or they took White because they were like, well, now I'm like a white man now because I'm free now. So I'm going to call myself whatever, White. Or also just literally Freeman. They call themselves so-and-so Freeman. I'm a free man. My name is Freeman, like Morgan Freeman. You find a lot of that. Not all, obviously. You find a lot of that in the Black community. Very common. Remember that there was a joke that every Black guy's name was Leroy Washington, right? That was a joke, right? Because Washington was a common name. So anyway, I hope that was clear.
The white subjects of the crown. So living up to those values was what created the conditions for people to recognize that slavery was an inherent wrong, that treating people as less than was inherently wrong, or treating them as not full persons. And I've just found that we don't get to that second part. It's always, well, people were subjugated. America is fundamentally racist. There's white supremacy. There's patriarchy, etc.
And that part bothers me too. The idea of just saying, well, America's a racist country. Okay. I want to be clear on this also, because I don't want to get yelled at by the old police. Obviously, there are racists in America. Clearly, that is true. They exist. Absolutely. Nowhere near the amount that people are saying. I mean, the vast majority of Americans, I mean, like 90% more, just don't care. That doesn't make you racist. Now, here's the problem. The grifting class knew that. I'm not joking. The grifting class knew that America was becoming less and less racist. They knew that. You could see it. It was happening from the 80s. You can see it in the TV shows we watched, in the media we watched, Obama being elected. We could see it happening everywhere. So then the grift master, Ibn X. Kendi, and his horrible ilk decided that it wasn't enough to not be racist. You have to be anti-racist. And if you're not anti-racist, you're actually just racist. So, because they knew they couldn't get you to be racist, so they had to go that route. Well, what did they do? They made more people racist because more people got mad at it. Most people just don't care. And to be forward as an American, that's all that matters. You don't have to be anti-racist. You can even be racist, just don't act on it. It's okay in America. Well, sorry, should be okay in America. Just don't stop people from living their lives. Give people equal rights in the eyes of the law. I don't care if you like people of a certain color. Just don't physically bother them. Don't stop them from living their lives. And we're good. That's what tolerance is all about. That's what it should be. But that wasn't enough. Now you have to embrace all the differences, accept them as true, say the right words. Why? Because America isn't nationally racist. It's not true. It's not true. Nor is it sexist. Larry, of course it is. Kamala Harris didn't get elected. Okay. Let's be very clear about something. In 2008, 2012, the majority of Americans who voted for a black person twice. That doesn't mean racism is over. I'm not saying that. It doesn't mean our systems aren't terrible. They are. But by default, that means America is not a specifically racist country by default. Now, there are bad systems and there are racists, but the country can't be. Twice. Not once, twice. Not just that in 2016, America, by popular vote, voted for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton won a popular vote. America voted for a woman president. In 2016, 9 years ago, Harris was a shit candidate. It wasn't because she was a woman. That's a lie this cope Democrats are putting up. It's not real. That's a cope Democrats put up. America's not a fundamentally sexist country. Not true. Right now, we have women governors. New York State, woman governor. Michigan, woman governor. How sexist are we? Stop. Mayor of Boston, woman. Mayor of LA, woman. Stop. Mayor of Chicago is a woman who is lesbian. Stop. He's black now. The guy now is black. Stop. We're just not. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Are there sexists? Of course. Are there? Of course. But very few. The average American just doesn't care. The average American gets up in the morning, tries to fix their life to the best of their ability. They don't care if the guy or gal giving them the coffee is black or gay or straight or whatever. They don't care. Just give me my coffee, man. Put the fries in the bag. I don't care. Right? Whatever. I don't care. My boss, I don't care. Is my boss good to me? Does he pay me? Does she pay me? I don't care. Man, woman, gay, straight, I don't care. Doesn't matter. That's true.
Not America has founding values that make it a great country, even if there are cases of injustice. The beautiful thing is that we fight to get rid of those and make it better.
Now, it is not often that you say things on this show that remind me of Barack Obama, but that just happened there because the younger members of our audience might not be aware. Back in 2008, there was a whole big controversy. Jeremiah Wright was a former preacher of Barack Obama's.
Remember that guy?
Very, very.
He was yelling "Goddamn America,"
and eventually Obama came out and disclaimed it. And Obama's argument at that time, and I'm slightly misquoting him, but it was something to the effect that his former pastor was not wrong in diagnosing the things that had been wrong with American society at that prior time. Where he was wrong was in not admitting the potential for change.
And this part, Obama is correct. I don't have a problem with anyone saying America is screwed up in certain ways. I don't. It's true. I don't. Say it openly. It's fine. It's true. The problem that I have is when you ignore progress that we've made. I remember I was working at a place, this is years ago, and a woman, we were talking like at a break or something, we were chatting, and a black woman is talking, and she says, I'm getting tired of this place. America, just like slavery. Slavery never ended. Slavery never ended. It's the same. And I said, slavery never ended? It never ended. It's the same. No one in the room would say a word. They were so scared to say a word. And I'm like, it's the same as slavery? I couldn't believe she said that stupid shit. And she's like, yeah. I said, no, it's not. What's wrong with you? You get to go home. You have a car. You drive. What slave had a car? That's what I said. What slave had a car? Slaves had cars. I don't remember that. And then she just got mad at me. And no one wanted to say a word. I mean, I don't care. I didn't care about it then. I don't care about it now. But yeah, just don't be stupid. If you want to say that there are issues with the black community, yes, you want to say, and this was a while ago, right? You want to say, hey, the war on drugs is crushing black people more than white people. Yes, true. The system has far worse outcomes for black people than white people. True, not wrong. But it's slavery? Come on now. Now you're being stupid. I'm just saying, now you're being stupid. But it's fine. I guess you can say it if you want to, but it just seems kind of dumb to me. So, yeah. All right, let me grab some more comments. You guys have a lot of comments I've been trying to get through if I can. All righty. So many of them. I appreciate it. Phil says, the synonym of socialism is envy. Ooh, a little bit spicy on that one. I like that. Andrea says, we have people with no homes. If Bernie actually believed in socialism, he would give 2 of his homes to those in need of a home. See that? He should. He should. But see, Andrea, it used to be the bad people. You don't know who the bad people are now. You're not paying attention. The bad people used to be millionaires. See? Then he became a millionaire. Now the bad people are billionaires. Those are the bad people. So I'm just saying, Andrea, you behind the times. You got to get yourself squared away. The new bad people are billionaires. That's how that works. Yes. Phil says Larry needs a second home upstate because it's up here enough. True. I need to get me. Let me ask Bernie if he'll hook me up. Give me one of his. Maybe he'll someone off. Whatever. Michael's got the plan. Buy one, get two free. See, he got the plan. Michael knows. He got the plan. Buy one, get two free. That's what you should be doing. I love that. There we go. All righty. Phil says Amber Duke. Oh, Amber, you got a thing for Amber. Okay. Phil, I think you okay. I like it. There we go. You got a couple people you like. Mike Voss in the house. Ever notice that progressives, Dems, that want socialism and hate us never leave? Never live anywhere else. Grass is greener and ignorance is bliss. Thus, millions try to come in and 45K per year. Yeah, look, you do find some people leaving, Mike. You're right. Some leave, but not many. I mean, we have far more come in than leave. But to be forward, we have had in the last couple of years the highest amount of Americans who've renounced their citizenship in a long time. A lot of Americans are getting tired of leaving. Sadly, most of them actually are wealthy. Most of them are. Not all. Most of them are. They're getting their passports someplace else. They're leaving. And then most of them, not all, but most of them are wealthy. A lot of renounced their citizenship. And most of them, by the way, are men. They're packing up and they're leaving. Some are. Again, you're right. Nowhere near to the level of the reverse, right? But yeah. But I'm saying it, Mike, I'm with you. I'm not leaving. I'll trash America and on certain things it does to the government all day long. I don't trash Americans. If you ever notice, I make a distinction between the government and the elites and the average all the time. I love average Americans. I can't stand the elites. So yeah, but I'm still staying. I'm not going anywhere. So yes. All righty. Let me grab some of that. Viola says Malay's a stud. You're not wrong. Yes. Rick says signed up for civil and there's an app for Roku. Yes. Oh, I should tell you that. There is actually an app for Roku. There's an Apple app, Android app. Download the app and you have a good time. They got all the cool stuff. The civil's got all of it. So you can just go there and enjoy. There's a lot of cool stuff. So I'm glad you're on board. I do love it. I'm glad you're on board. Yes. All righty. Mastermind says, when everybody's special, nobody's special. True. True. And they don't get that. They don't get that. Rich says, left and right are both puppets of the deep state. I wish you were wrong. Right? That's the part yeah. I wish it was true. Yes. Yeah. All righty. Grace says Walmart always makes money no matter what. So yeah, also true. I wish you were wrong on that one too, Grace, but you are absolutely right. Yeah. John says, Mom Donnie was recently on CNN to my surprise. CNN did their homework and brought the facts. Mom Donnie doesn't know any math or New York policies that he undoubtedly contributed to. Yeah, remember, CNN is corporate media, right? You'll hear people go, CNN, a bunch of hardcore leftists. Not true. CNN is corporate media. They are Democratic Party media. So they are Democratic Party left. That's what they are, right? MSNBC is a little bit further, closer, but still also corporate media, but they're a little further left. CNN is straight Democratic Party establishment left. And Democratic Party establishment hate Mamdani. Oh my God, do they hate him? Because they know he might actually change their party to be a populist party. And they can't have that. They shut down Bernie. They got rid of him. They shut up AOC. They got rid of her. Now they got this guy. What? These guys keep coming. We keep smacking them down and keep popping back up again. Right? They're getting pissed. CNN, do your damn job. Get rid of these people. And CNN tries. Of course. Of course. Yes. Jared, thank you for being a member, my friend. Corporatism killed capitalism. But that's why they call it the American dream. Because you have to be asleep to believe it. Nice. George Carlin. Nice. I feel this quote is more accurate today than when he said it. Yeah, that the reason is when you have a system that is just left and right, that is just other guy bad, you're just throwing money at that system. So yeah, 100%. Michael's going to say food waste on a Mamdani is supposed to be historic. We need a governor to put Mamdani on the leash quick. Okay. I said this, I did a news show earlier today, and I said it on that, and I said another show I did also. this is the thing that may make some of us just go nuts. If you're in New York now, get the bucket. Just get the bucket. Mike, you're going to be mad at me, but get the bucket. I'm telling you in advance. It may come a time that we may actually praise Hochul for stopping him. I know I said praise Hochul. I know I did. It's possible because even she's going to worry about this. You're like, I can't go this far. I mean, she's a grifter, but she's like, I can't go this far. That's like the end. She might actually be our savior here. You might be like, that was a good thing Hochul did. I never thought I'd say those words, but that might happen. That is how bad this could be, that might happen. Yes, that literally could be the thing. That could be it. Grand Regent says, corporatism and capitalism are sister and brother. I'm not sure I would, depends, right? Because if you look at, I would say big business and big government always go hand in hand regardless. So if you look at socialist societies, it's similar, right? You have certain big businesses that get government handouts and they become corporatism. I think it works in any big business and any big government, regardless of capitalist or socialist systems. I think that happens all the time. The only way you break that is when you have a system where the government spends a lot of its time breaking up monopolies, right? Monopolies are the problem. Oligarchies are the problem. When you break those up, things change. So yeah, I think I'm one of the libertarians who doesn't mind when government steps in to break in monopolies. I know a lot of libertarians get mad and go, that's not libertarian. I don't care. Monopolies are bad. Breaking them up is fine. Yes. John says, Larry, Canadians have a government-run beer store. It seems to work for them, but government employees get lots of time off. Can a government store work? Yeah, of course it can. It can work. The question is, what do you sacrifice to get it? Right? And also, what are you accustomed to? And what has happened in the past? Imagine if they all of a sudden said, we're now going to have government run this. Now, we've had government run things for a long time, and we're accustomed to it, and the culture reacts. The question becomes, what happens when it's new? So, yeah. Gray says, when your government locks down and locks you out of your life and you're the only in your teens at a time, yeah, you aren't very patriotic. True. Yes. Absolutely. All righty. Grant Regent says, my dad bought the house I grew up in the late 80s, paid $80K for it, and it's worth $60K now. Yes, that's the problem, right? So now you want to buy the house. Man, how are you going to find $600K? I mean, some people can, and good luck. Look, if you can make that kind of money, I'm not mad at you. I hope you can make that kind of money. That's good for you. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying a lot of people are going to struggle to make that kind of money, right? A lot are going to struggle to make that kind of money. That's not an easy thing to make, right? So, yeah, that's my only issue. So, all righty. John says, in the event you could start another governor run, any idea who'd be lieutenant governor pick? I don't know. I like Andrew Hollister. Been my governor pick twice. I still love him. So maybe him. I haven't talked to him about it yet. So maybe him. So could be. Dave said, Larry, right now it's the 1619 project versus the 1776 project. There isn't something in between, like the truth. Yeah, you're right. Right? Look, 1619 and 1776 both have very important aspects to it. We do want to realize that, and for those of you who care, I think it was 2021, I think. I did a Juneteenth show on this. I started from 1619 on because Bacon's Rebellion, if I got that right, Bacon's Rebellion, that literally decided, that race mattered. Before it was always class. America made race matter more than any other place on the planet. More than any other place. Other than that, it was ethnic background or class. We made race a thing more than any other place. Right? The Americans did that. So yeah, that's an issue. But it doesn't mean that all of a sudden, by default, everything we do is evil. So yeah, absolutely. Grant wants to leave. My goal is to move out of here eventually. Yeah, a lot of people do. You're not alone. I'm just saying that. A lot of people do leave. It does happen. More than ever. People are becoming unhappy in America. And the problem, I'll give you my opinion on this, Grant. Please, just my opinion. You do as you see fit, obviously. I'm going to ask you. Please don't just run away. Run towards something. Most people don't. They just run away from something and they regret it. You want to make sure you're running towards something, whatever that thing is. I would do a lot of homework if I were you to pick the place you want to go. Most people don't. I don't know you personally, so maybe you did it already. I don't know your background. I have no idea. But I'm telling you, most people I know who leave don't do a lot of homework. Please do a lot of homework to make sure you're running towards something, not just away from something, so you get to the right spot. I know people who've left and they go to another country because they have, family there, or they visited there once, or they have some ethnic background connection to that area, and they go and they freaking hate it and they come back and they wasted time, money, and energy. So I'm not saying you're doing that. I don't know you personally, so I don't know if you're doing that. I'm going to ask you, if you make that move, do some homework and don't leave just because, whatever the case may be. So yeah. Mass says Nelson Mandela. Yes, British Empire. This British Empire, right? British Empire, yes. That's the issue. Roy says America's flawed, but unlike most nations, we have the means to change. True. We're the ones who freed our slaves. We're the ones who 100 years ago finally gave women the right to vote. True. We have the means to perfect our union, but there are many conservatives who want to honor those woebegone eras. I think what you find with some conservatives who look back to those eras is they felt that people were happier. That is their feeling. And in many cases, they're right. Now, this may sound crazy, but hear me out. Even when there were terrible things going on in America, some people were happier. And that sounds horrible. And I'm going to give you an example from Colin Powell's book, My American Journey, back in the 90s, I think he wrote it, or 2000s. I forgot when he wrote it. Maybe late 90s, early 2000s he wrote it. He talked about the idea of Amos and Andy versus cops. And he said, I would rather Americans see Amos and Andy, even though Amos and Andy had a lot of racial stereotypes in it. It was a racist show. Compared to, for today, it's a super racist show for today. I'd rather see that. And his logic was, at least they saw a black family. Black people were in trouble in the 60s and 50s, no doubt. But many black people had families. Look at that today. Way worse. Do they have more rights? 100%. 100%. More power? 100%. More freedoms? 100%. Yes. Are they happier? I'm not saying that we should go back to those times. I'm saying it looks to many people like we've sacrificed happiness to get freedoms. That's what it looks like. And I say, Roy, we can get both. Conservatives go, but we lost the happiness. And then Democrats or liberals go, but we lost freedoms. I'm like, let's get both. Let's get both. And I know it's not easy. Still can be done. So Monkey See, Monkey Do says, two of them. All right. In my opinion, the Declaration of Human Rights is one of the great things America has done. I think it puts the concepts of human rights into the global consciousness. And just having a discussion is a positive. In my opinion, without the Declaration, the discussion is less likely to happen. It was largely Eleanor Roosevelt to be forward, but I think it's something left-leaning people should be proud of. Agreed. Look, just because something's left doesn't make it bad. I'm sorry, if you're Mike Voss, it does. But if you're not Mike Voss, something left can be good. I like lots of left things. That's one of them. I do. In this case, the left is wrong when it comes to education, but I like lots of left things. I love those things, 100%. Yes. I am, you guys know this. You don't have to love or embrace gay people or trans people if you don't want to. You don't have to, not required. I'm sorry. The left, this is what left's wrong. They think you have to. You don't have to. You have to not bother them, not attack them, not hinder their lifestyles, and allow them to have equal rights under the law. That's it. You're good. I happen to be very close to the gay and trans community. I have many friends who are gay and trans. I don't have a problem at all. You're not required to. I don't force you to. Just leave them alone. Don't hinder them. Get them equal rights under the law. And as long as they are, 2 points, consenting adults, let them do as they see fit. And life is good. So, yeah. I think that's part of being American is. Saying, fine, you do you. I don't like it. But you do you. Just as long as two things, again, I keep saying it, consenting and adults. Both of those two things. And we're good. That's all I care about. Those two things, yes. All righty. All right, and keep going down here. Republicans are literally on Twitter saying civil rights bill needs to be rescinded. Yeah, I get the point. The point behind it is they're saying that because they believe that it is now obvious and no longer required. That is their logic behind it. They're not saying because they think that people shouldn't have rights. They're saying now people are taking advantage of it. That's what they're saying. They're saying things like, well, now they're using this, and I'll give you an example what they're saying this. They're saying now there's a trans athlete who will use civil rights bill to be able to play in a sport. That's what they're saying. Things like that. That is their lot. I'm not saying they're wrong or right, but just because they're saying it doesn't make them racist. And the problem is the left says, oh, now you're racist because of that. Now, to be forward, are racists happy? Yes, but it doesn't mean that the thought process behind it is by default racist. It isn't. I'm just being very forward. That's how it actually is. So yes. Mike says, Larry, the flaws in America drive more immigration, legal or illegal, than any other nation by multiples. Nigel is way off. Yeah, he is off. I agree. Nigel's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy. But very often, this is most people, their ideology blinds them. It's a common thing. So yes, their ideology often will blind them. So yeah. Michael says, I think the term conservative is thrown around a lot and given it to front fake conservatives like Michael Johnson. Mike Johnson brought Chuck Schumer's spending bills to the floor and then went to CPAC. Nice. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Very good. I do like that. It's very good. That's a nice one. I do like that. All right. I do want to bring something up, right? You're talking about conservatives, who was actually conservative, who is actually, a libertarian, who is whatever the case may be. All right. I have a way for you to figure that out. You know what that way is, don't you? Yeah, you do. You know what that way is. That way is heading over to the Advocates. Yes, it is. Head over to the Advocates right now. There is a link on Sharpe Way YouTube page. Click that link, that specific link. Click that link, heading over there, and take the world's smallest political quiz. If you think someone says, well, I'm a real conservative. Okay, are you? Then go over, take the quiz. Homeboy, you so conservative? Go take it. I'm a liberal. You are? Take the quiz then. I'm a libertarian. All right, show me. Take the quiz. It'll pop up and show you what's going on. You'll take it. You'll see. You also see who gets what by when and how. You'll see the whole thing. I think election integrity is important. You do? Take the test. Show me you are. It's a couple minutes. Take it. Once you take it and click calculate my results, what's going to happen is you're going to see a little chart. It's going to show you where you land. If you want to give them your email, do so. I would like you to because they're going to send you cool things about being libertarian. But if you don't, it's fine. You don't have to. Click the X. You'll see it anyway, right? So give them the email if you want to. If not, click the X. You'll see about your results. Copy and paste those results. Look how old I am. Screenshot your results. When you're done screenshotting your results, post the results online along with the link back to this so someone else will take it. Say, look, I did this. What are you? I did this. What are you? This is free. It costs you nothing, and it moves us all forward, and we have good conversations. So please have the conversations. Click that link on the Sharpe Way YouTube page and description right there. It's the description of this show. It's at the bottom. Click it right there. You'll see it when you make that. It's also, by the way, my VA lady just posted it on Rumble. Click that link right there. You do that. They'll know it came from me, so they'll be happy. So be nice to them. Do it, take it, it's free, and share it with others. It does matter. Please pop on there, and you'll see where you land. Maybe you're more libertarian than you thought. Maybe you're not. I think you probably are, but who knows? Either way, do that. It does matter. I do appreciate it. All right, let me grab a couple more comments if I could. I'll be able to put it up. There it is right there. Grab that link right there. Click it right there. That's the one to click. That's the one. Yes, that's the one to click. Please do that. Michael says, almost every Republican claims to be conservative and almost none of them actually are. Often true. Often true. I wish it wasn't, but it often is true. Yes, that's the sad part. I've seen that many times. Yes. All righty. John says, VA liquor stores, ABC hard liquor, not beer or wine, are state-run, and they run well. Go figure. Yeah, maybe. I could see it. I don't think it's necessarily going to fail. But you're now asking that to happen in a city that is often run by small businesses in those stores. I'm not saying it will or won't work. I'm saying I feel like the odds are against it. But we'll see. Look, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I'm wrong and it's awesome and Mamdani's great, but I don't see it. In fact, I still think there's a chance, and I know you're going to make some of you Republicans angry. I think there's still a chance that everyone drops out except for one person. It happened in Buffalo. I said it in my radio show. It happened in Buffalo. Everyone drops out except for one person. One person gets all the money, and that person gets all the money, and then they run against Mamdani, and that's it. That could actually happen. So we'll see if that happens or not, but I could definitely see it happening. I definitely could see it happening. So, guys, I want to remember I will be coming up this week, coming up here Thursday, 7 p.m. in Syracuse, Friday, 11:30 in Schenectady, a.m., 4 p.m. in Putnam County. Check me out on my other pages. It does matter. Remember, my show is moved to Monday. My radio show now is on Monday. Tomorrow's show, Wednesday show, will only be on Civil. So civil.com for tomorrow's show tomorrow. But at late night, 9 p.m., tomorrow, 9 p.m., late night, I will be on Chrissy Mayer's show. So you can see me on Chrissy Mayer live, 9 p.m. tomorrow night. So I'll be doing my Civil show at 7 p.m. on Civil only. Then Chrissy Mayer's show, 9 p.m. That'll be live. So also doing a special Libertarian Drinking Coffee live tomorrow with a New Jersey governor candidate tomorrow. That's just on my Larry Sharpe stuff. So I have a busy day tomorrow. You can see me on many different ways if you want to. But more important than all of those cool things, what matters most is remember, after this is over, remember what algorithm likes: to comment after the live. Comment on this if you would after the live is over. Comment on whatever you're watching. And I'm going to ask you this question. Why do you think socialism is so popular with the youth in America? Give me your 2 cents. What's the big deal? Why do they care? What is it? We'll talk about it. Please do so. Put that comment after the live if you would. I appreciate it. It does matter, again, as I keep saying it. And also remember that if it's not live and you're watching it the day or two after, you're usually going to see 2 different videos pop up. Click on one of them and watch for at least 8 minutes. Algorithm loves that too. I will see you all very soon.